Good afternoon, folks. It is, what day is it? It's Wednesday the 31st of May, so we're looking at the last day of May here. I don't know where this year has gone. I really don't. So what I thought I was going to do is, we're actually at the point where I've got so much here at home to do that I'm not going to go to the plot after Al gets home from work today. I know I should, but there's so much that needs putting on. So what I thought I would do is I'll give you a quick roundup of everything that's going on at home as a very quick video. And then I'll do my usual weekend video. I might not do it this weekend, so this might be a substitute for that. So, we're actually going to start down there. So let's... Right, first thing to note is this lawn really needs cutting. This was the turf. Sorry, I've been pulling things out and moving things around. There's boxes everywhere at the moment. This was the turf that we replaced, and that is the normal grass, so... It's done alright, I think. It's incorporated itself, it's not a problem, but everything needs cutting, and every time we've had 5 minutes to cut it, it's been tipping it down with rain, which I'm not going to complain about. So these are my dahlias, which have not been planted out, obviously, even though I intended to, and a tomato here. There's one of my dahlias, it's actually going into bud, which I might actually pick that flower head off, because these need planting out, and then I want them to put a bit of energy into developing their roots, rather than flowering. So then, here we have this cloche. Hang on. Where did you go? There you are. Oh, there's loads in here actually. Little bees. I brought this cloche, which is like 1.5 meters long, I think it is, from Wilkinson's at the end of season sale. It was £2, and it's done a treat because, as I've said before, my cat is an idiot and he keeps digging things up, and I had lots of salad crops in this bed, and he caused me stress. I put this on, and he's only been in there once, and I think he regretted it because he couldn't find an easy way out. So he's never been back. So that's okay. But the bees, these are permanently open. The bees have free access, and they're doing a grand job. They love their little chive flowers. Oh, off he goes. We've had lots of lovely radishes out of here. Iceberg lettuce is doing really nicely. This is the last one. This is all that was left from him. I've been harvesting some oregano and drying it off, but I'll show you that in a minute. And then we have, throughout here, we have a combination of different salad leaves, more radishes, and then some lamb's lettuce, and this is coriander. We use a lot of coriander, so I thought I'll give it a go, and it seems to be really, really liking this cloche. There are spring onions hiding under there. There's a couple of little weeds. There's bittercress by the looks of it. But it seems to be pretty much self-managing. It looks really nice. I'm really struggling to not eat the radishes constantly and actually leave some for salads. Right, so here's the thyme. This is my big old thyme bush that's done really, really well. It's really like being moved. I'm pleased about that, and the bees love it too. It's in flower at the moment. Little beautiful bees here. They're happy. And we have rose strawberries, don't we? Oh, they're looking lovely.
I know.
I'm going to eat them.
No.
I am. Oh yes, and the row of parsnips. This plastic needs tucking under, but there you go. Row of parsnips down the edge, doing really well too. And here are my first lot of peas. Now, I did sow, and I didn't put the video up, I did sow lots and lots of peas in expensive seed peas as well, not Wilkinson's ones. Okay, thank you. I did sow lots of peas, expensive seed peas, not Wilkinson's ones or anything, in guttering. I used Jack's Magic compost, and along with everything else that I used that had Jack's Magic compost in, they failed. Every single thing that I sown in Jack's Magic compost failed or was deformed. I'm not impressed. So I'm not impressed with Jack's Magic compost, and it came as quite a surprise to me because so many people had raved about it, but it killed everything that I grew, and I will never use it again. So for now, let's just get on with what we do have. So this is what we've got growing for now, that other than the dahlias and the salad bed. So these are Earthwalker sunflowers. You can see the leaves are tinted. If I can get my hand behind it and it will actually focus. You see the leaves are tinted with that purple? So I'm quite interested to see how these turn out. They're supposed to be like a red with an orange centre, so very nice. Some mini tomatoes. These are the tumbling toms that need to go out. They actually have tiny, tiny little buds forming in there. I am going to have to get a better camera. There, see the end of my thumb? There. So there we are, flowers. Cosmos are really sturdy. Really, really good this year. Much better than last year. And these and those are my chilies. These I sow seed of in January. I don't wonder if any of these have got the date. No, they don't seem to have the date. But I know it was January, and a lot of them have already started to flower. What's this one here? And these are Hungarian hot wax, jalapeno, amira, and Calaro. So there's quite a few different varieties, and they should keep us going for sure. And they've been really enjoying coming out. And what I can tell from what makes a happy chili is these lovely glossy green leaves. Whereas, where is this one? Hang on here. This one, you can see is contrast. The leaves are a little bit yellow. So this is a Calaro, and that I'm going to spray with Epsom salts in water. So say a teaspoon in a tablespoon, sorry, in half a spray bottle. Give them a little spray and it'll pick them up. Got cerinthium, honeywort, it's not tea plate. Ew. I've been standing a couple of plants in to water from the bottom. These are my giant sunflowers, looking great. Then we have lots more tumbling toms. I'm not going to need this many. I'm only going to use 4 of everything that I've got, I think. More cosmos. This is impomia, which is desperate to get in the ground and start winding its way around things. This lobelia really needs, poor thing, really needs separating out. Poor thing. Look at it. So many little plants in there. Well, it's done really well. This is Cascade mix. So it'll be lovely when they go. And this is a new Monarda bergamot. It smells beautiful. And then some zinnia in here. More sunflowers and cerinthium down the back with more cosmos. And again more tomatoes. Then we start the array of squashes. So we have everything from pumpkin to a birdhouse gourd, which you leave to dry for a year, and then they hollow out. You cut a hole in, you can use them as birdhouses. Honey bear squash, pink banana squash, sweet dumpling, crown prince, Turk's turban, and blue hubbard. So between these and all the others that we have around, that's what we have. There's more here. This is a moneymaker tomato. This is a rooster, as we're calling them. It's again, they're getting little flower buds. These are my amaranthus. So you might know them more as love lies bleeding. So these plants, they have these red and green leaves and these really long deep red tassels. And they remind me of, is it millet that they give to budgies and things like that? That kind of thing. Might even be that. I'm not sure actually. Here we have, these are balotto beans, looking very nice. There's a couple of kale that I'm keeping to put in at home. These ones are, they're more balottos actually. Balottos, squashes, kales, tomatoes. I see a theme happening on this bench. In here, in this mini greenhouse. Right, this looks a mess, but this is something that will be repeating over a period of time. Hey, listen, it's crunchy. Now this is oregano that I dry. Then I will rub this through a sieve, and then what I will basically get is crunched up dried oregano that's fresh from your garden to use on your pizzas and all of that sorts. Mostly pizzas. and it's really nice. It's something you can add to the jar over the season. I love drying those. And these are just standard mushroom trays that you get your mushrooms in. And I'm using these to start off some different types of salad again. So I've got rocket, and these are, the middle one is like a mixed spicy leaf, and these ones are gourmet variety, which is just fancy leaves, I suppose. That's the rest of the beans that we didn't put the plot, and then these are the runner beans that are coming on a bit more now. We have more tomatoes along the bottom here, and here, more salad. These are my Bowels of Ireland flowers, which are tall green flowers, but they're not actually flowers, they're bracts, and they form like a delphinium kind of style flower if you think of it that way. Iceberg and little gem lettuces, next lot ready to go out. My kale has formed lovely seed head, and keep watering the plant just a little bit, keeping it moist, so that these seed heads will not just, the plant will not just die back and stop putting energy into producing these seeds, and then we'll let it dry off, and I will have an abundance of blue Scotch organic kale for next year, or probably many years. But I've actually got about 4 of these plants drying off, so I'll have lots, so I'll probably give some away. This is my sedum that has been used by spiders. It's making little nests, and some semperviniums and some feverfew that's cutting, that's gone into flower. This bay leaf, half of it's alive and half of it's dead, which lends me to thinking that they're actually 2 separate cuttings in one pot. And there's mint. Poppies, doing fantastically. I'm going to just take those whole modules and plant them soon. And the general consensus is you don't disturb the roots of poppies. But I have always done it this way, and you'll find that the strongest one in that little module, say, in this module, that will grow and produce a poppy. But because you take it out from the whole module and all of the roots of the other seedlings are bound together, you don't really disturb the roots, and they survive and do really well. So I find often if I sow direct, I try to avoid sowing direct with being organic gardening, because slugs will just munch the heads off these. Ducks seem to be having a fight beyond the canal, which is just there. So yeah, we have red Russian kale. So the stems are a pinky colour with these lovely serrated leaves. More squashes, so these ones are all the birdhouse gourds, and I've got stumpy wet feet. Oh my gosh, look at your feet. Let me show you. Look at her feet. Get out there and clean them up. Go on. These at the back here are gherkins. Then we have zinnias, Tithachia, Tithornia, more cosmos. We're going around here. This catnip. Last year it was big. This year it's crazy. It's taken over. Again, the bees are loving this as well. I love to plant things for bees. I don't care really. I brought catnip for the cats. They couldn't care less if we have it or not. They really don't care. So, catnip. Amy's got campanula, harebell, geranium, some aquiledias and achillea. There's another campanula there. Some nettles. Okay, there's nettles, as I said, but we can laugh about nettles, but there are certain species of butterfly that do lay their eggs on nettles, be it a dead nettle or standard common nettle. And if we keep ripping those out, I think it might be painted lady, which is in vast decline. If we keep taking that habitat away, the butterflies will decline, and that's no fault but ours. We need to leave just a little patch for them. So I tend to leave a few at the back of this border here, and in that corner there where no one can get to. I tend to leave some over there too, but not many have come up this year. And this big beast here is my monarda, so that are bright red flowers, more campanula, clematis, and verbascums. These are some spring onions, and these are some autumn leeks. A bit of salad left over. I've resown this end with some more rocket. My rocket goes to seed very, very quickly. It doesn't like the like moist, damp temperature, like heat temperature of this little eco climate that I have going on here. So what I do is I sow literally little amounts, like hand width amounts, every week, and I will pick and pick and pick, and by the time it decides to go to seed, I'm done, so that's okay. And these are more spring onions, some mint, some more strawberries, aster, broad beans. There's a broad bean pod ready here. I'm surprised this has even survived. I left it as an experiment, but yep, we have broad beans and we have some more over there too. These are just dead dahlias. These are broccoli, which I really need to pick out. Then we've got the sweet corn early bird, which is not the same as my sweet corn incredible that I sowed at the plot. So these are my backup, and they're going over the other side of the plot so they don't cross-pollinate and produce nasty, nasty corn. More marigolds, more tomatoes, more beans. These are pea beans, and those are, what are they? I think they're cobras. More dahlias, and there's some sprouting broccoli down there. These are my leeks now, and as you can see, they've really begun to thicken up now. They've done really, really well. The leaves are becoming strappy rather than being thin kind of spring onion like leaves. They're becoming strappy leaves, which means they're ready to be planted. More nasturtiums, like I said, these ones are African Queen, the variegated variety. I said that in my last video. They're very nice. Some sunflowers. Whoop, oops, what did I trip over? Nothing. Okay, more beans. These ones are runner bean streamline. There's some more purple sprouting broccoli in here, kale. My snowball cauliflowers are a bit of a fail, to be honest. They're not doing anything. But we all have failures. And more squashes, pink banana, Turk's turban, blue Hubbard, and then greyhound cabbages and more black kale. You never have too many brassicas, you know, never. This is my Veronica spiccatum, which is its official name. The rogue pea that I decided to leave in the pot is producing lovely orange tea for my daughter to pick as she goes along. More kale seeds, like I told you. Some verbena. These are this one and this one are my aduki beans. And this one, which seems to be being loved by a little snug of some sort, is dwarf bean Ferrari. So I'm going to keep them in there a bit longer because they're obviously quite tasty still. I've got a row of tomatoes here. These are Roma. So the Roma tomatoes, oops, I'm treading on a lot here because we still have the greenhouse frame, which I still need to clean down and take off, but we definitely have flower trusses on the Roma tomatoes. They've come on a lot. Remember, these were yellow and now they've just taken off. They're green. Sorry, yes, so they've really taken off. A lot of them are forming little flowers. Some of these will go up the plot and some will stay at home. We had them in the cold frame over there, the glass one, for a little while, and they really seemed to like it, and it sorted them out. And I have been picking off, see here in the branch between the two, here, there anyway, between the two branches of the stem and the branch, I have took out some side shoots, and I'm going to cordon train these. If I do it successfully for my first year, I will be surprised because I'm awful at cordon training tomatoes. These here, although I know they're not vegetables, these are a perennial foxglove that I've sown. I got seed from Gardener's World Live last year and I'm absolutely in love with them. They're beautiful. So let's talk onions. So the onions, you can see nicely standing up in a row. Not necessarily standing up because some of them have started to fall down. You can tell. Let me get in here. So, right, your onion And this is quite a sizable, nice onion.
Yep.
If you take the trace the stalk back, this thick stem, and you find a soft spot, and it wiggles, or it should wiggle itself, don't force it, but you'll find a soft spot. If that soft spot is there and it starts to fall, that means that your onion is getting ready to be harvested. Now I leave them like that, then I will leave the tops to die down. You see this has started to go yellow, started to die back. And then when it's died back some more, I will pull that up, lay it on top of the surface to dry for a few days. Always do it on a dry sunny day, and when you're going to have dry sun for a few days.
Yep.
And the skin can dry, you can take this outer skin off.
Beautiful flowers outside.
And they will store very well, unless
you can try to eat
I'm
them.
gonna you can definitely eat them.
Yeah.
Any like this that have had a flower scape form, you can take those up. I mean, you can take it up now if you want to, but I'm going to leave them. But you can't store those for very long, so when you do take them up, you need to use them right away. Okay? Okay? Rooster?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I get up now? You scooches? So that is the onions. I still haven't removed the rogue potato from in the middle. Might get new potatoes there. And here is the home potato patch. So these ones were grown at home. This one is a volunteer potato from last year, which is growing right on the edge. It's growing up through the brick edgeway outwards. I'm just going to leave it there, see what it does. Why not? These front two, which are just finishing flowering, are Arran Pilot. Then we've got a mixture here of Maris Piper, Valor, Sarpomira, King Edward, and I think that might be it actually. I think there's just one bucket of each of those. So they seem to be doing really well. I'm really pleased with them. So it's a small garden, as you can see. It really is, but it's this self-facing. This is an absolute heat trap. Because we've got the canal behind that fence, we get a lot of humidity, which can or can't work in your favour. You never know. I pulled out some of the rudbeckia the other day from over there because they were drowning out my clematis, and that's not allowed. So, excuse them, what bucket, I'll use it to transfer some water. This bed here, I've got my salvias and peony on the end, but I'm going to rake this down now so it's a fine tilth. I'm going to put my runner beans and cobras on one side, and then down here I'm going to put some kale for home and some salads and that through the middle and at the end. No, you have no spiders in your hair.
Yummy salad.
Yummy salads, yes. So this garden I have done absolutely nothing to this year. It is all overflowing, it's all doing its own thing, all by itself. And to some people this is absolute hell because it is disorganised, it's chaotic, and everything's left to do its own thing. But that is my flower gardening style, that's how I like it. Can you give me a moment please? So we have lots to do, and this bed over here, underneath the cold frame and around that corner and down here is a patch of ground where we're going to move the cold frame, and we're going to plant our sunflowers which grow up and get supported, and we've also got our dahlias to go in there. Right, okay, so that is a very quick tour, and I will see you more hopefully at the weekend. Can't promise it, but if not, I'll just say I'll see you soon. Okay?